Firefighting is not a job. It's a career, it's a passion, it's a vocation. My dad used to say, if your vocation and your advocation are one and the same, you will never work a day in your life. If you love what you do and you are passionate about it, you will have a good life, okay? We who love it have the passion and the pride in what we use. We use words like duty, pride, tradition. We learn from the people before us, and we use these words to define our jobs and our duties, and therefore ourselves. We have honor. We believe that we can and do make changes in the fire service. And by doing that, we change the world. If we change the world and make a difference, then we are truly doing God's work. We, the 1% who truly lead, teach, and mentor, believe that we honor those who came before us by upholding the love and respect of what we do and where we came from.
Smile and say thank you every time you hear the tap out go off. You know, I know it's hard when we wake up in the middle of the night, you know, 3 o'clock a.m. You know, we already been up twice. You interrupted sleep, and you got to lift assist, and the old lady, you know, can't help herself out of bed. But smile and say thank you, because this is what you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? This is what the people pay you money for. And so we like, it's an opportunity and a gift for us to be able to give back and be able to be at somebody's service when they call 911. It may not be an emergency to us, but whoever picked up their phone and called 911, they expected us to show up. You know what I'm saying? And it's an opportunity and a gift for us to be able to do that.
Lastly, me. Me comes last for a reason. Our job is inherently dangerous, and there's...
What is a firefighter? What is a firefighter? They're your neighbor next door. Just like you and me, with warts, worries, and unfulfilled dreams. Yet they stand taller than most of us. They're firefighters. Firefighters are once the most fortunate and the least fortunate people in the world. They are men and women who save lives because they have seen too much death. They're gentle because they've seen the awesome power of violence that has gotten out of control. They're responsive to a child's laughter because their arms have held too many small bodies that will never laugh again. They don't preach the brother and sisterhood of man. They don't have to. They live it every single day.
When we chose to raise our right hand, and it is a choice, we took ownership of the problems of the people we serve. They're calling 911 because they can no longer handle them. Compassion still matters, and we are charged with making a difference. This is why we go inside. 80% of the civilian fatalities that happen in this country due to fire happen in residential occupancies. We talk a lot about 360-degree size-ups. They're good, they're necessary. We need to do them as often as we can. What we don't seem to weigh as heavily are interior size-ups before we make a decision about who or what can survive on the inside. And how we're going to do that is we're going to look for life, fire, and layout. We're going to look for life. We're going to get to a door, force the door, and look for life. We're going to look for a victim behind the door. We're going to look for life behind the door. We're going to do a body's length search all around it. We're going to scan with our light. We're going to call out fire department and listen for a response. These are our initial search operations in an area with a very high percentage likelihood of finding a victim.
They instilled in you a set of values that may have been a little different than what you brought to the fire department. Are you forgetting that? Are you letting that go? Because folks, the world has a different set of values. They look in at you. They look in at the service you provide. They look in at what you do day to day, and they are absolutely blown away. They're in awe. This world values money first. That's the first priority. What's the bottom line? For firefighters, it's not even in the top page. Every single day, You are invited with great urgency into the homes, the churches, the sacred places of men and women across the country. And they didn't expect you to be there that day, and they're sure glad you're there now. And there's money laying on the counter. There's jewelry laying on the bedstand. Things that are sacred and precious and valuable to them. Even the modesty of the family members that they love so much are in your care. And that money, those valuables, the things that they hold nearest and dear, are safer in the presence of a firefighter than in any bank in the world because of who you are. The world is dedicated to a me-first attitude. How does this benefit me? What am I getting out of this? And then they're confronted with firefighters who are interested only in what is best for others.
We have to take back time for these victims. How do we do that? The victim does not have time for us to take a minute to get masked up. They don't have time for us not to be proficient at forcing doors, to think we can just kick them in. They don't have time for us not to be able to move hose lines, flow water, and throw ladders. And they certainly don't have time for us to stand in the front yard and try to decide if they can survive in the building or not. We have to fight to take back time that the fire has stolen from them. We can speed up our physical actions and slow down our thought processes. How do we do that? We train our ass off on skills until they become second nature. The civilian does not deserve a lazy, unmotivated, undertrained firefighter to show up on their fire ground. Your family does not deserve a lazy, unmotivated, undertrained firefighter to make the turn down your street when your house is on fire and they need help. We have to prepare ourselves to try and meet the expectations of what we've chosen to do.
I have a lot of pride in our job. When I'm at Safeway and someone says thank you for your service, I thank them for a paycheck, for giving me the opportunity to serve them. Why? Because they don't owe me anything. I owe them everything. I do. They have no idea. Their thank you is based 100% on integrity and trust. 100%. They have no idea if I threw a ladder today. They don't know if I came out and performed a search. I could walk in the front door, stand there for 5 minutes, walk out that door, and go, hey, primary complete, and they don't know. But what keeps us whole? Us. People like you, and people like me, right? We want to hold the integrity accountable.
At 3 a.m., I'm telling you that the citizens of the world are praying to God that on the other end of that phone, when they're having the worst day of their life, there is a well-trained fire company ready to respond, because experience has told them those are the folks that are going to come and make it better.
The civilian has purchased that time for us to put them ahead of ourselves. We all chose to be a part of something that is greater than ourselves. They've purchased that time for us to act on behalf of them. We all have to pass the mirror test. We all have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, am I doing everything I can to try and fulfill the expectations of the people I serve, what they have for me? What does it mean when they think of a firefighter?
He's one of the finest firefighters I've ever known. He joined this department because he wanted to help people. Who knows how many homes are still standing because Jack was there, or how many lives were spared. He gave his life for that cause. We'll never forget you, Jack. And we are better for having known you. But I make you this one promise. Tomorrow, when that bell rings, we will be back on the truck, because you were the bravest of the brave. People are always asking me, how is it that firefighters run into a burning building when everyone else is running out? Well, Jack, you answered that question by saving another man's life. Your courage is the answer. And today we will be as brave as you by not mourning you, but by celebrating your life.
He came out with a statement, and it was so telling that, firemen have a saying, when people rush out, we rush in, we charge in. You mean to tell me that firemen looked at that? They looked at that, and they said, we're going into that. He says, again, like they did.
I started my career in the firehouse across the street from the World Trade Center, Engine Company 10. I started my career there in 1980 when that firehouse opened. And I stood there for 16 years until I was promoted to lieutenant on September 5th, 1996. They asked me to work in their Office of Fire Safety Education. And boys and girls, 8 months into that assignment, I was named the director of the whole program. And then at that point, I get a call from Fisher-Price Toys. I figured they got a wrong phone number. What do you want? This is, we want to run something by you might be interested in. Well, what is it? They wanted a New York City firefighter to be their new rescue hero. And as I was telling them what a firefighter looks like with his bunker gear, his tools, his equipment, his air mask, and they want to have a big press conference in New York City. They want to introduce this new rescue hero. Well, they were so excited. They said, when can we do it? And I'm brainstorming in the meeting. I says, 911 is the emergency phone number in New York City. Why don't we have a 911 day in New York? This was the new rescue hero being introduced on September 11, 2001 at 9 o'clock in the morning when the first jet struck the tower. On my way to the press conference, I saw the tower fully engulfed with flames, and I had to make a big decision. What do I do? Do I go to the press conference for Billy Blazes, which didn't happen anyway, or do I make my way to my old firehouse across the street from the Twin Towers? And that's what I did. Boys and girls, I didn't have to be there that day. I was in a dress uniform. I took my uniform off and borrowed a set of firefighting gear. And in that rescue effort, I was buried. And by the time the sun went down on the evening of September 11th, 2001, 344 firefighters were declared dead. 3 days later, one was found alive in another state, in a hospital, in an operating room, and that was me. And boys and girls, Billy Blazes would come to represent those 343 heroes that I worked with who made the supreme sacrifice of life. Let this day ignite you more than anything could ever ignite you. Billy Blazes, the rescue hero that represents real people, and that's not me. It was the other 343 firefighters who I get the honor of telling their story.
Please remember, firefighting is not just a job, but a noble cause to leave this world a better place. If you leave the fire service a better place for your being in it, then you are having an impact and doing God's work. Anyone can make a statement and some noise, but not many people have the courage to make a difference by making change. Are you making a difference? If not, why not? To paraphrase President Kennedy, have you asked what you can do for the fire service, not what the fire service is doing for you? If not, why not? Why are you here?